change things that only God can change. That's not your job. And sometimes there's no logical solution. God is going to supernaturally turn it around. If we take matters into our own hands, we're going to be frustrated. And too often, we're fighting battles that we're not supposed to fight. We're trying to pull up weeds when God said He'd be our gardener. He will take care of the weeds. He has many advantages. One is He knows when the harvest is ready. If you pull it up too soon, that will lessen what God has for you. This parable ends by saying, when it's the right time, the farmer who represents God will separate the weeds from the harvest. He'll bundle up all the weeds and throw them into a fire. If you'll leave the weeds alone, then at the right time, you're going to see some smoking weeds, things that have hindered you. I didn't say you're going to smoke weed, things that somebody got their word from the Lord. You're going to see some smoking weeds, things that have hindered you, people that tried to stop you, closed doors. All those weeds are going to go up in smoke. God is going to turn things around and make ways where you don't see a way. Here's the key. The reason God is waiting to deal with those weeds is because your harvest is going to be greater than you thought. God could have pulled that weed earlier, but He has something bigger than you've imagined. The question is, will you trust Him with your weeds? It's tempting to take matters into our own hands. I got to pull up this weed. Oh, you prayed, you believed, you've done what you can. God is saying, leave it alone. Let me take care of it. Don't fall into that trap. After you've prayed, you believe, you've done what you can, you have to take your hands off of it. God, I trust you. I know you've got this. You're working all things for my good. God, while I'm waiting, I'm going to stay in peace. I'm going to be still and let you do what only you can do. And this was hard for me because I'm a doer. My personality type is not to sit back. If I have a problem, a goal, a dream, I'm going to find 6 solutions, call 3 experts, line up 4 options, come up with the strategy, the plan. That's all in the first half of the day. The next half, I'm going to really work. I believe in being on the offensive, taking steps of faith. But I've learned some things only God can change. And the more you try to force it, the more frustrated you're going to be. The psalmist said, unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. How many of us are laboring in vain, constantly struggling, always trying to force things to happen, trying to change our spouse, convince this coworker to like us, harping on our kids to get back on course? It's like we're running uphill with leg weights on. Everything's a burden. But if we're not putting forth all this effort, trying to make it work out, you can kind of feel guilty. I got this problem, Joe, I got to do something. But it says in Hebrews, those who have believed enter into rest. It's okay to leave it alone. You don't have to make it happen in your own efforts. Give yourself permission to rest, to not worry about it, not strive, not come up with 12 solutions. You've done your part, now take your hands off. It's not going to happen just by your might, by your power, by your intellect. It's going to be the hand of God. You don't have to force the favor. You don't have to beat down doors, make your business grow, make yourself get well, pay somebody back for doing you wrong, prove to them who you are. All that's going to do is drain your energy, take your joy, steal your creativity. Sometimes what we think is the enemy is really the hand of God moving us into our destiny. The closed doors, the bad breaks, the loss, nothing happens without God's permission. You shouldn't fight everything you don't like. There are deserts you have to go through to get to your destiny. In those dry places and those wilderness seasons, you have to know God is right there with you. He's not going to let you go through anything you can't handle. The moment it becomes too much, God will send the angels.
What's the point in hating somebody that's out having a good time and couldn't care less if you're mad? Maybe they don't deserve your forgiveness, but you do deserve peace and joy. And so you do yourself a favor and forgive.
You know, so many people just suffer greatly when they lose a loved one. And yes, you need to grieve, but also honor them and be grateful that they were in your life. And you can create a relationship with them in the afterlife. I mean, I'm still in touch with my dad and my mom and my husband, and they're amazing, and they help me in the most amazing ways. I have chills when I say that, because they're right here, right now, rooting me on and helping me answer these questions. So finally, I guess I just wanted to say that, you know, ultimately, this is your life, and you get one opportunity in this lifetime to be here. And so I would highly recommend that you be here now in the moment and just be grateful. Gratitude is such a wonderful way to appreciate everything you have, and to, you know, my experience is the more grateful I am, the more that comes to me. So gratitude is a wonderful practice. And to just, again, sit silently and spend more time in nature to really connect deeply with your own higher self, and to love yourself. At the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, is to not look outside of ourselves for the answers, but to look within. And everybody has that ability, and it's free. You don't even have to pay anybody for that. We're really trying to figure out what love isn't. And so that's why I think as we're here on this planet and we start to love ourselves more and love each other more, then we start coming back to the oneness that we all are. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish here, is to be able to, you know, come together. And that, I do believe, God or the universe, I mean, ultimately, we're striving to have that oneness together. And right now we're going through a very difficult, tumultuous time to understand what love isn't, so that we can let that go and bring love in for everybody. You know, God needs these religions to kind of keep order or whatever, but I don't believe that's true. Again, as I stated earlier, I do believe that religions were created by people to control people and to keep them you know, literally under their thumb, and keep the power to the people that are, you know, that were higher ups. And so to me, now that I've had this experience of going to the next, you know, to the other side and witnessing people being welcomed in, I mean, the unconditional love is beyond anything that we have on this planet Earth. I do believe that we're here to learn lessons and to really understand what love isn't, because when we're on the other side, when we're back in the one, we want to know what it's like. We want to know what it's like to be in a physical body, number one, to be able to experience and express the physicality of our oneness. But also, we're really trying to figure out what love isn't. And so that's why I think as we're here on this planet and we start to love ourselves more and love each other more, then we start coming back to the oneness that we all are. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish here, is to be able to, you know, come together. And that, I do believe, God or the universe, I mean, ultimately, we're striving to have that oneness together. And right now we're going through a very difficult, tumultuous time.
Be disciplined in what you think about. Start locking up those thoughts. You have a destiny to fulfill. There's a calling on your life. God has an assignment for you to accomplish. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you if he didn't know there is greatness in you. He's going to do his best to get you worried, doubting, fearful, discouraged. That may be the way it's been, but this is a new day. Some rooms are being cleaned out right now in our mind. Strongholds are coming down. Wrong tenants are being evicted. I believe and declare you have a sound mind. Like Peter, you're going to sleep through the storms. Like this young woman, things that have hindered your family line are being broken. You're about to see promises come to pass. Healing, favor, breakthroughs, the fullness of your destiny. That's peace that passes understanding. That's what happens when you take control of your thought life. You'll have peace in the midst of the storm. When you stay calm, when you could be worried, stressed out, can't sleep, you're showing God that you trust Him. That's when he'll make things happen that you couldn't make happen. The angel opened up the prison doors, chains fell off his feet, Peter walked out a free man. But when you're in a difficult situation, your health, your finances, a relationship, you can be sure worry will come knocking at the door. Panic, fear, what are you going to do? This is bad, there's no way out. If you let fear in, if you give place to the enemy, he'll tell you all the worst case scenarios. That sickness is going to be fatal. That contract you lost is going to sink you. You'll never recover from this breakup. In those challenging times, more than ever, you have to be disciplined in what you allow in. Don't let the negative play. Don't start envisioning everything that could go wrong. Don't spend 4 hours Googling that sickness, finding all the bad reports. You don't need that negativity in you. Keep the door closed. You need your mind filled with faith, with hope. Father, thank you that you're fighting this battle, that you being for me is more than the world being against me. Thank you that what you have purposed for my life will come to pass. It's time to serve worry an eviction notice. Let peace in. Let faith in. And every time worry comes back, use that as a reminder to thank God that He's working on what you're concerned about. You'll hear that knock on the door. Hey, it's me again, worry. What about that child? They're still off course. What are you going to do? Father, thank you that as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Thank you that my children will fulfill their purposes. When worry knocks, answer back with faith. You gave the intruder permission to stay. Now he has a room in your house. The good news is you're the landlord. You get to decide who stays, inferiority or confidence, not good enough or a masterpiece, unqualified or well able. Maybe you need to ask yourself, why am I so worried? Why am I so afraid and on edge, thinking something bad's about to happen? That's a room you've let the enemy occupy in your mind. And the problem with letting fear, worry in, it's not only taking your peace, but you draw in what you constantly think about. Faith works in the negative just as it does the positive. That negative frame of mind is going to draw in defeat, bad breaks, disappointments. Why don't you evict that tenant? God has you in the palm of His hand. Nothing can snatch you away. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You can say with David, the Lord is my light and my salvation. I will not fear. The Lord is the strength of my life. He's fighting your battles right now. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A sound mind is a positive mind, a hopeful mind. It's a mind that's at peace, a mind that knows that God's in control, that He's ordering your steps. A sound mind is not focused on the problems, it's focused on the promises. It's not looking at how big the challenge is, it's looking at how big our God is. A sound mind is not discouraged over the bad break. It's expecting God to open a new door. It's not bitter over who walked away, it's knowing God has someone better coming. That's the way God created us to live, positive, peaceful, trusting. But so many people go around with a troubled mind. I don't see how this problem is going to work out. A worried mind. What if my company has layoffs? Doubting mind. I'll never meet the right person. A negative mind. I can't break this addiction. I've had it for years. What kind of mind do you have? What are you thinking about all through the day? Your life is going to follow your thoughts. And the scripture says, let this same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. This is an amazing promise. You can have the same mind, the same thinking patterns as Jesus did. He had all kinds of problems, but He didn't have a worried mind. He had people betray Him. He didn't have a bitter mind. He stood before Lazarus, a man that had been dead 4 days, and called him back to life. He didn't have a doubting mind. He trusted that his Father was in control. He believed that he was called, equipped, and empowered. He had a sound mind. he would have never fulfilled his destiny with the wrong thoughts playing all day long. Pay attention to what's playing in your mind. The enemy would love for us to go through life with a doubting mind, a fearful mind, a worried mind. Don't fall into that trap. You control the doorway to your mind. You can't stop negative thoughts from coming, but you can decide whether or not you're going to dwell on them. God is not going to do this for us. This is something we all have to do. Take control of your thought life. Be selective in what you're dwelling on. If the thought is negative, discouraging, bringing fear, doubt, confusion, dismiss it. Don't give it the time of day. Replace that thought with a positive thought. Replace it with what God says about you. You've seen your best days. It's all downhill from here. No thanks. My latter days will be better than my former days. God, I thank you that you're taking me from glory to glory, that my path gets brighter and brighter. Well, you're never going to accomplish your dreams. You don't have the funding, the connections, the experience. Father, thank you that you're opening doors that no person can shut. Thank you that the right people are tracking me down, that good breaks are headed my way. This is our choice, a doubting mind or a faith-filled mind.
Joe Dispenza takes this idea a step further by introducing the concept of asking God, emphasizing the importance of aligning oneself with higher spiritual forces. The power of intention. Joe Dispenza encourages individuals to approach asking God with a sense of intention and purpose. It goes beyond the traditional concept of prayer. It involves a deliberate and focused alignment with the energy of the universe. By setting a clear intention and expressing it to a higher power, individuals can tap into a profound source of energy that may aid in the manifestation of their desires. Moving beyond traditional prayer, Dispenza suggests that conventional prayers often lack the necessary depth and specificity to bring about meaningful change. Instead of merely asking for what one wants, he encourages a more detailed and vivid articulation of desires. By vividly visualizing the desired outcomes and feeling the corresponding emotions, individuals can send a more powerful and resonant message to the universe. The science behind asking. Joe Dispenza's teachings often incorporate elements of neuroscience, emphasizing the connection between the mind and the physical world. He suggests that by engaging the brain in a specific way, individuals can influence their reality. The act of asking, when combined with focused attention and emotional involvement, may trigger neural pathways that align with the desired outcomes, ultimately facilitating the manifestation process. The role of faith and belief. Faith and belief play a crucial role in Joe Dispenza's approach to asking God. He asserts that unwavering faith in the process and a deep-seated belief that the desired outcomes are not only possible, but inevitable can significantly enhance the effectiveness of this practice. It requires a shift in mindset, allowing individuals to let go of doubts and trust in the universal forces at play. One aspect of his teachings that has gained significant attention is the concept of asking God, a practice that aligns with the principles of the law of attraction. According to Dispenza, once you start asking God in a specific way, it is not merely a request but a powerful manifestation tool that can transform your life. Understanding the law of attraction. The law of attraction posits that like attracts like
the purpose of my life.
What is it that you offer the rest of the world as a Christian? You are a unique individual. The Bible says that you were made in God's image, and so there's a quality about you that no one else can bring except you.
See, God has gifted you. He's given you talents and abilities that He's given only to you. And when you find out what that gifting is, that will help point you in the direction of your purpose. Say it a different way. In other words, that God's not going to call you to something that He hasn't gifted you for.
1 Peter 4:10 says this: God has given each of you a gift from His great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. You and I have been given God-given gifts, passion, personality, and experiences. And God uses all this to shape your mission and the work He's called you to do.
Proverbs 18, verse 16. A man's gift makes room for him.
Here's the fascinating part. Like any energy, our interaction with money influences our capacity to attract it. The energy you release into the world is the energy you receive. When you regard money with appreciation, positivity, and respect, you're more likely to draw it into your life. In contrast, if you associate money with negativity, stress, or scarcity, that's the energy you emit, and in turn, that's what you'll attract. It's a cycle. Your emotions and thoughts about money, your energy toward it, will shape your financial existence. It's not solely about working harder or smarter to increase your income. It's about altering your energy, your mindset, and how you perceive money. It's recognizing that money isn't just a tangible object, but a type of energy that you can attract, channel, and control. Money's energy can be likened to a garden. Just as a garden needs attention and care to flourish, your financial well-being requires nurturing. Think about planting seeds of positive thoughts and actions regarding money. Cultivate them with care, patience, and consistency, and watch as they grow into a prosperous financial future.
Why they should focus on health, because we are not created to be sick. We are not created to be unhappy. We are created to be happy and live in a paradise, and that is our natural state. So if you are focusing on your own sickness, some people like the attention from others, because if they say, oh, you know, I'm in pain, then someone will say, oh, poor you, and they get this attention. You need to kind of see if that is the case with you, and try to see yourself as a healthy person, see yourself as a full of energy, and that will also manifest. It will happen eventually if you keep doing this every day and believing that you are healthy. Then there's no option that you are not. So that's why it's very important not to focus on the negative information that we get. We need to all focus on the positive. Then I believe that also will elevate suffering on many people, because it's very difficult. The people who suffer, they are low in vibration, because the pain is very kind of makes them feel unhappy. And by negativity, I mean the feeling of fear, the feeling of anger, the feeling any kind of what the religions consider to be sins. You have to get rid of these kind of feelings, because the visualization and the emotions are on the higher vibrations, and all the negativity is in the lower vibrations. So if you basically get into this calm state of mind, you will get the light coming from, if you believe in God, you believe the light comes from God and comes and fills you up, and then you send the same light, and which light is the love. For us, it's easier to imagine light as a sort of, you know, something visual. That's why I call it love light, because to feel love and to feel light, it could be the same feeling. So you basically, you first have to heal yourself, because the light and love have to fill your body first, because only then you can send it to other people. And that's, you can also make it expand into the area without bounds, because love doesn't have any borders. So if you expand it to the whole world, it will go beyond your own body, beyond your own area, and will cover the whole planet in it. And you just imagine every dark area just lightening up, and all the dark negativity being destroyed, because the light and love is more powerful than any other emotion in this world. I don't know, if you think of someone as your enemy, or if you have bad thoughts about other person, that also can stop you from gaining this kind of visual cleanliness, because if you focus that someone is, you know, you especially if you have feelings, you should not have feelings of hate, because hate it's very, very low emotion. So you try to see everybody as it's kind of, I know it's very difficult, because if someone hurts you, you can send this visualization their way, and after a few times, I guarantee they will start to change the way, because I know the person who, gives you negativity, if you send the love light to them, eventually they will also start to feel it. So you have the power, but you have to have absolute conviction that that is the case, that the belief that is gonna happen. Or even though we don't remember when we are born, we don't remember who we were, our soul remembers, and it always will come out sooner or later. So this kind of helps you understand yourself a bit better. But obviously, our life goes on. So once you know all this information, you need to move on and continue living this life, because this life is your mission and this life is where you're supposed to fulfill it to the best. That is just the knowledge to help you if you acquire it. And definitely, I think that we have, as we have the power of manifesting, this power transcends our life. So it's not just the power in this life. So we can also manifest our next life and decide to be whoever we want to be.